Okay.
Are we back?
Well, everybody's got to come into the chat.
There's Carlene.
Well, that was rough. I hope everybody comes back.
Yeah. It's really too bad that we froze up because I was saying some pretty nice things about V.
Yeah, Carlene, I saw before we ended. I saw your comment about your Starlink doing well. We've got really thick overcast here today, and that storm that's rolling in is Bushido's never coming back. That storm that's rolling in is just making it the over the air stuff is completely messed up on TV, and
even the radio was really weird.
Yeah,
it was really weird.
But thank you guys for sticking around. But what was weird was I several live chats the past 2 days have had this same exact issue. In fact, Prepper Nation this morning had to restart his stream this morning.
Yeah. And I've even noticed that over at Danny and Wanda's. I've noticed them when they start getting more numbers and stuff, they also had to restart and do that kind of stuff. Yeah. So,
well, and I'm not sure if it's. I don't think YouTube's doing anything nefarious to us. I think it's just
the internet,
just the internet and bad connections.
Yeah, who knows?
Grateful Hearts, nice to see you.
Hey,
we're gonna hang out for a little bit and just wait for people to come up.
Yeah,
come back online. Hopefully people stop by. I hate it. I hate doing that to people.
Yeah.
Made it.
Hey, Tag.
Thank you for the compliment too, Tag.
Yeah.
Just really
not necessary, but thank you. It's not necessary.
I just, like I was saying before it locked up, I think it's really cool that everybody's moving forward.
Yeah, it is.
And
awesome.
even though I complain about it being a step back, we're still better off now.
We're way better off than what we were.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, Tag, did you hear anything about Snow White? When did we freeze up? I don't know if I now. Oh man.
But we're all moving forward.
Tag, we look up to you guys too. If it wasn't okay, so here's where I was going with the Snow White. If it wasn't for your guys' positivity and your push for us, I don't even know if we'd be where we are right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we get so much encouragement from them guys. That's why community is so important. The encouragement to just move forward and keep going. And hey, man, you need to get out of bed today. You need to move forward. You need to get this done. And you get frustrated. You're like, I know, but money and this and time and blah, blah, blah. But eventually, it comes in and we get that with Snow White and the dwarf Grumpy.
He's Snow White and I'm the eighth dwarf.
So he did catch it, I guess. Well, I didn't call you.
I guess Grumpy was one of the dwarves, isn't he?
Yeah, I didn't call you a dwarf. I didn't even talk about you. But yeah, no, that encouragement is important. I'm just hoping I get my bees back and they like me and don't want to fly back to bee. Well, Roger had a hard time
talking about the community and all that. I have become. I'd heard it for years and years and years, but I never gave it much thought. I have become a true believer that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Right.
And you should. The only way we're going to become better and move forward is if we're surrounding ourselves with people that are dragging us along for the ride, that we have to
encouraging, not dragging.
We have to climb up to their level, and
the you hang around with should make you better.
Yes.
So I've always lived by this rule, and I guess I learned it. No, I did.
I learned it
the hard way. Yes.
My God, folks, there was a point in our marriage where if there was a crazy person at her work, she became friends with them. And remember
I don't know why you have to bring that up. That's just because I listen to people. But but if you want to be successful, hang around successful people.
Yep.
If you want to be in jail, hang around jailbirds.
Yep, absolutely. He's talking about the freeze dryer cells offsetting the costs.
Freeze dryer what? Say that again.
The cells offsetting the cost. We figured out per run, it's about $8 worth of electricity, right?
Well, so I don't really know that that's the case because so everything's gone up 40%. So take that into consideration. But when we were at the last homestead, our electric bill went up $20 a month.
Yes, it did.
So that's what we were doing, $20 a month.
And we were running it. We literally ran that thing for about 3 years, 24/7.
Yeah. And so if you're running it like that, then, figure that out. Now, here's where it gets different. So now you have people that want to come over and use your freeze dryer, and you have people that want to come in. Again, don't forget that now everything's about 40% higher in electricity. So you take that into an account. So you're maybe looking at, what would that be? $24, $26 somewhere in
It is
there
more expensive
a month. And then now you have people that want to come in and they want to use your freeze dryer. Well, they're not living with you. And so
we do not have that problem. So don't think that.
No. I'm talking about another situation. I know that there are some people that watch our videos. So there are other people. You have to, if something errors out, you've got to be on top of it. You have to be able to go in there. If the oil, something happens, you have to be able to take care of that, all that. So considering time, that person, so if you're like out or letting somebody use it, then what you want to average is, with your time and the effort and electricity, is about $8 to $12 per run. And so there's another homestead that I think she charges $8 per run. And so that's adequate. That's her time checking on errors, making sure, resetting, doing all of that thing. So it's just kind of where I'm at there. But yeah, I think you're probably looking anywhere. Well, I don't know what Canada's like either. So in the Midwest, it's about $26 a month.
Hippocrates, retired at 40, there's a video someplace in his catalog. He doesn't do it all the time, but he did put a kilowatt on his machine, and he did a video on about how much it costs per run. Of course, that video is at least 3 or 4 years old, maybe more than that.
Yeah.
But retired at 40. I mean, that guy, as far as assets on the internet to learn from, that guy does a really good job of breaking it down. Let's see here. And was it a large? Yes, it was. His was a large. Ours is a large.
Ours is a large too.
too.
Yes. Yeah. I'm thinking about putting a kilowatt.
Yeah, that's
on
what we're
it.
just
Okay.
about.
All right. Who said something about Mylar bags?
Oh, he's trying to figure out the cost per run, what it's going to cost to bag everything up. We figured it up whenever we were getting ready to do the sales at the festivals and all that. We figured it up. I did a price comparison against Ogden Farms, Ready Made, and what was the other one? Anyway, the
Four Patriots, I think.
It was a four. Anyway, I did it up, and we can do per serving at about 75% of what they charge. But our servings are bigger. Our servings don't have all the sodium and stuff in it. Ours are just much better. And when I say ours, yours will be too. Anything that's homemade in your freeze dryer is going to be better than anything you buy from any of those long-term storage places, because they have to put chemicals, and they have to put salt in it.
You're gonna have to scroll back up there because I missed something. You made it longer, and I'm still lost. But yeah, and then the Mylar bags, don't just go buy willy-nilly your Mylar bags. And I try to make sure that I do good quality Mylar bags, and I have different mills for every food that I do, and there's a reason for that. We travel with our food. We're doing festivals. We see the difference between 7 mil, 5 mil, 9 mil. And, you think about that. You're taking that out on a camping trip, hiking, SHTF, whatever. Those need to hold up, and they need to be really good. So I try to do nothing lower than 7 mil. You can save money with 5 mil. You want to preserve your food. And we even had problems. What was it I did? It was a chicken noodle or something like that, and we started noticing that the noodles were almost puncturing that
Oh, yeah.
5 mil. And I was like, man, we can't travel with this. I'm gonna have to
I
figure
would
something
I
different
would
out.
do 5 mil if I were sticking in buckets and it was
Staying home.
staying at home. Yeah, I wouldn't do anything less than 7.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
So
RN
so
says Harvest Right just came out with an extra large. It can do twice the amount of food at one time.
ah.
Still 110 volt and costs about $1,500 more. Yeah,
Well, ours is a 210. So, because we have an old school one, so our large is a 210. So, if they've got an extra large at that extra $1,500 would save you.
it's going to be
It
about
would actually save you money.
6,500 if I remember correctly.
No, they're getting less expensive right now. Teepaw and I were talking yesterday, and I think she saw that the medium Teepaw put that in there, but I want to say she thought she saw it at 2,800, something like that.
Yeah, he meant to get the extra large, but he hit the wrong button. Oh, they're only 4,500. So the prices did go down on that.
Oh shoot, the extra large is only 4,500.
Oh, they probably got a sale going on.
Uh,
I told you, if you want to buy a second freeze dryer, you need money. It's not coming out of our household budget.
All right. Wow, that's a great deal.
Yes, it is.
That is a fantastic deal.
Used to be the larges were 5,000.
You realize that'll pay for itself in one festival.
Oh, then you need to chop, girly girl.
Done. Challenge accepted.
But I told her if she makes the money, she can get an extra freeze dryer.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that has something to do with the Valentine's Day with the contest or something, because that's $1,500 is one of the prizes.
Yeah, it's on sale till January 31st, she says.
Oh, dang it.
Milk me. I have to watch on replay. Daughter needs me. Uh-oh, go take care of the chitlins.
Go get them.
Teapot, the medium was 20.
Well, and those always are, and that's if the oilless pumps.
Oilless pumps. Yeah.
And they were, last time I looked, I think they were $1,250. But like I told Teapot, we don't use the oilless pump, and we don't for a reason. There a lot of the feedback that everybody had, they were replacing those. It seemed like more than they were replacing the regular oil. Now,
yeah, if you remember correctly, though, the first generation pump that we had, the very first one, it broke down all the time too.
Well, we're on our third pump.
Well,
we're on our third pump.
To be fair, we wear them out.
Yeah, because we go 24/7. So we are on our third pump. But I would rather spend $300, $450 to replace that than $1,250 a slam to replace it. So if you're just doing for yourself and you're just home, no problem. Then I think you'd be fine with an oilless pump. But if you're, constantly running this machine and doing all of that, I don't know, take very careful consideration with that.
And there's a community in the freeze drying community, that the subgroup that says that you can use the Northern Freight. Is that the name of the company? Northern Tool. Northern Tool sells a vacuum pump that will work on the freeze dryers.
We have not tried that.
And they are 50% the cost. Now, how long they last and how well they do, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because if you're having to replace a pump, if it's only lasting a third as long as a regular pump, then you're spending more money in the long run.
Well, okay, so Carlene, if it's 6 trays in the extra large, so my large has 5 trays. So if it's 6 trays in the extra large, how wide are they?
They got to be long.
Because if you're doing double the production, so in my large, I do 16 to 20 pounds, depending on how much liquid I have in there. So that will help me. How many pounds of can you do in the extra large? So an extra large premier pump. Huh.
And then there's some cool things you can do, HG, to make your pump more efficient. Mm-hmm. The one I want to do, I think it was Retired at 40 did it, but he's got a filter on his pump where the oil will run out of the pump, go through a filter, and then get pumped back into the reservoir while it's running. So he's constantly got a flow of clean oil going into his pump reservoir. And then when he changes the oil out, he doesn't have to take his pump apart. All he does is he closes the valve, disconnects the hose, and cleans out the little reservoir down at the bottom where it's flowing through the filter. And I'd like to do that because, quite frankly, changing the oil in that thing's a pain. And you should clean it. You should clean it about once every 5 to 10 loads, just on what you're doing.
So the extra large, you're getting 30 to 35 pounds. So not necessarily double, but could be double.
Still,
more liquid. You could do more
Yeah.
soups and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
they're huge. Those are huge.
yeah,
trays.
those are big.
Yeah. But
Nice. Wow.
that's ours. The 9-inch. Ours are the.
Where would we put the extra large freeze dryer? That's double what we got
The only place the next freeze dryer is going to go in the processing kitchen.
Oh, both of them have to go in there. Okay, I'm gonna have to rethink things. Maybe we
That
can
was one of the things. Speaking of the freeze dryer in the processing kitchen, as I'm closing up that pantry room, I'm blocking out more and more of the cold air that's getting in the house, and it's made a noticeable difference in where the old kitchen and living room, the part that we need to rebuild. It's made a huge difference in how cold it gets back there. Now it's still chilly, it's still cold enough you can see your breath, but it hasn't frozen, and it got really cold the past, where in the past it would have frozen stuff back there, but it so that's a big thing. And once the ceiling's not completely done, and once that's completely closed up, I think it's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah. So that reminds me, I was going to ask you, did you get the solar lights in the pantry done?
No,
I saw the box was empty, so I just wondered if you got those in.
No, the lights are back there. I haven't got them in. The panel hasn't. The panel just shipped yesterday. The panel and the charger. I thought last week, whenever I was saying that everything was here, maybe I said it in the video tomorrow, I don't know, but I thought everything was here, and it was actually a package of Angela's fresh pack Mylar bags that I thought was a solar panel.
I got so much going on and so many festivals coming up. I had to order new Mylar bags. Oh, that's where I was going to go with that. You guys were talking about Mylar. Be careful where you order your Mylar from. So there's a great company, US, and it is called Fresh USA. Now, I don't want you going in there and buying them out because I got to get my, but you go in there, they got some good prices. Don't be afraid to look at the wholesale.
Kentucky Sustainable Living. How you doing? Hey, your medical training series was pretty good. I liked that. I enjoyed. Did you watch that?
I didn't. I'll have to watch that.
Shelly was there. Shelly put a tourniquet. Shelly saved.
She's a hoot, isn't she?
She saved Jason's life by putting a tourniquet on his arm.
Okay, she's a hoot. She just cracks me up. But I did freeze dried chili for her. I don't know if they tried it, if they tried to reconstitute it or not.
Reach out and touch him.
Yeah.
Oh, she stapled his arm too.
Oh, like for real staple or pretend staple?
No, they had a medical, so they were practicing doing that.
Yeah.
So instead of stitching up.
That's fun.
But,
yeah, she's a hoot. She just cracks me up. I can't wait until back to the land.
Like I would love to get this to the point where we could host events like that and do what. If you guys missed it, Jason, if you go to his channel, they had a trainer come in and they live streamed the training session. And it was a week and a half ago, maybe. But they live streamed the training session. I would love to be able to do that. And that's one of the things we're talking about. We're talking about when we do the processing kitchen, is making it so that we can have classes there and people. So that's one thing we're looking forward to doing. And we get inspiration. We see things like what Jason did and what other people do, and we're really looking forward to being able to get to that point.
Yeah, it is amazing how much you learn. And so, but that's what part of training and all of that stuff is about, and getting all that done. Would we do Chief came, right? It was Chief, and no. It was Trauma Bob. Yeah, and we learned suturing. And so I had to go pick up it was
Trauma Bob.
Hog's feet. hawks, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so I went and picked those up, and then we split them, and then we had to go in and do stitches and everything like
Bought a
that.
bunch of suturing kits, and
Yeah.
Trauma Bob is a friend of ours. He's a surgeon, and he showed us the proper way to do sutures and stuff. And it was a very interesting class.
Yeah. Oh, if you think about doing that, you have to go to the hood to get your hawks, your pig feet. Don't you? Did you forget that?
That was kind of racist.
No. Well, that I didn't mean it that way, but you do. There was, when I looked several areas, different areas, one that I was comfortable shopping in, and I couldn't find them anywhere. And I actually talked to a butcher at the last one because I was like, what am I going to do? And he said, you need to go down to, and he gave me the address, and I went, seriously? And that's where I had to go to find them. So
that was down there in the hood, the real hood.
It was the real hood.
That was down there. There is a area code on the phone in Kansas City that is literally one of the most violent places in the country, and that's where she had to go shopping for these. And I was like, I used to work down there too.
I called him. I'm like, do I really need to go get these? How bad do we need these? We can't do something else. And he's like, oh, you got to get what he said you got to get. And I was like, ah. And so I went in there, ran in and got what I needed and ran out. So,
you know what? Speaking of Trauma Bob, I found this very interesting with speaking. He is a very accomplished surgeon. He is top of his field in this area, you know, in this region of the country. But we were talking, and I started talking about the book Where There Is No Doctor. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. It's a free PDF. There's a free PDF out there, or you can pay and get a printed copy of it. But it's written by these two guys that were in Peru, up in the Andes, and they wrote a book about ditch medicine. Well, Trauma Bob, even though he was a surgeon in the Army, he was a respected emergency room surgeon, emergency room doctor, and he had never heard the term ditch medicine before. It just kind of boggled my mind that somebody that knowledgeable had never even contemplated what it'd be like sewing somebody up in the bottom of a ditch. But
he's a good friend, and you know, they're like-minded and very, very well. They're good people. So, in fact, they're out there by Doug and Stacy, and we missed them at the last festival, and this next time we need to make sure that we hook up with them and visit with them. So they've just had a lot on their plate. We had a lot on our plate. So
this has been one of those years.
Yeah. So,
you know, so let's see.
What happened to Jason's land?
I know, I missed it.
Oh, see. Yeah, Tammy, the weather here too. This is our second round. We had to go out and come back in. So,
well, and it was okay. So yesterday, the funny part of yesterday was I got home and I was out working. I had to move. We got feed yesterday, and I had to bring firewood up, and it just seemed like it was taking forever. And I came in, and it was really dark and late.
That's common with triplets too. I'm so sorry. Yeah. This weather doesn't help.
But I thought it was late, and I came in and I took my nightly supplements, and I take 2 melatonin right before I go to bed because it helps me get to sleep quickly. And I took them
5:30.
I took it. Well, no, it was 6:30. I took them, came in, changed.
You were passed out by 7.
Got cleaned up and took them. Then I'm sitting in the chair, and I flip on the TV, and I'm like, oh crap, it's only 6:30. And so Angela came in a little bit later, and I looked at her and I said, I screwed up. And she said, what? I said, I took my melatonin at 6:30. She said, oh great, you're going to be up at 11 o'clock. Well, I wasn't. The good news is I slept for about 10 hours, minus the dog barking, minus the puppy crawling on my head, and minus you coming to bed and waking me up. Yeah. But that was seriously 10 hours of sleep for me is
abnormal,
very abnormal. Yeah, abnormal. But I needed. I felt great today.
Good. You came in looking kind of grumpy, so
the the thing that got me started on that was, though, yesterday was the first time since we had that really hard cold back in December that I actually wore my coveralls. It's been so warm around here the past 3 or 4 weeks or I guess 3 weeks, that I haven't had to use it. And apparently I'm going to have to start wearing it this next week because they're looking at lows in the single digits for the next week.
Oh, I was going to share something too, because I was talking with Wendy and because I was like, hey, I need you to order sweet vermouth. And well, I'm thinking to. So I need you to order sweet vermouth. And here's what I'm looking for. And she said, I don't think I can get that. And that's how we started having that conversation. And so she's like, well, let's go check. This is where I usually keep it. And she only had 3 bottles of something, but they were all different. And I was like, that's not what I'm looking for. And we were walking around and she goes, look at this bottle. Isn't this a pretty bottle? And she showed me the bottle. You want me to grab it?
Yeah, grab it and show them. She bought it for cooking, and it's very...
No, not for medicine.
Oh, for medicine.
Yeah. I didn't know what it was. And so I didn't know what it was. And she showed it to me and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a very pretty bottle. And but I didn't know what it was. And she didn't know what it was. And so we started studying the label and all of that. Somebody had special ordered this and never picked it up. And so we started looking at it and she goes, elderflower. And it was like, huh, that's weird. And I said,
We're not giving you medical advice, by the way.
I didn't realize that they made elderflower liqueur. And so I was like, and so I just went, that's not what I was after. And so we got to talking and I left and got into my truck and I was like, elderflower, elderberry. Oh, and so I started doing some research real quick. This is shipped out of France and it's medicine.
People use it for making homemade elixirs and stuff.
I'm gonna let you guys do it on YouTube, and I'm gonna let you guys look up elderflower and what medicinally elderflower is used for. I was shocked. I literally got out of the truck, ran back in there, and handed her the cash for it. I said, "I'll take it," and she goes, "Wait, what?" I showed her the information and what I looked up and how I it to her, and she goes, "Oh, I would have." And it was like, I said, well, I just bought it. It's mine now. And Wendy said, well, no big deal. I own the store. I'll just order another one. And so that was just a lot of fun. But
so our ancestors using moringa powder for
nice
long haul. I have no idea what moringa powder is.
The moringa trees that died in the move. Yeah, Starlo's getting me some more. Yeah, they all went into shock. We lost them all in the move. But yeah, moringa powder is amazing.
Starla says she's got to go. We were waiting for a phone call anytime from a family member in hospital. Oh,
yeah, Starla, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So let us know. We'll say a prayer for you. Yeah, it's just one of those things that we have to. That goes back to my video. The world as we know it doesn't end in a great big flash. It doesn't end in a great big bang. It ends every time we go to sleep. It ends every time we lose a job. Every time we lose a loved one. It ends every single day for us as we know it, and it changes every single day. And the key is to get right spiritually, get right mentally, and get right physically. Bless you.
No, that was a cough.
Okay. So the updates. I got some, I've started doing these little news stories for you guys during the live. These are things that I picked up that I find interesting. And they're nothing really special about them. I interesting. I want to share them with you. So there was a guy in Kansas whose dog shot him on a hunting trip.
That was awful. You're not making fun of this.
No, I'm not making fun of it.
He died.
I know the dog shot him and killed him. The gun was in the front seat. The
back seat. The gun was in the back seat.
The dog was jumping around and accidentally hit the trigger and killed the guy. Man, firearm safety. That's what I was saying. Like, why wasn't that safety on? Why was that loaded? It just didn't make any sense. It made zero sense. And in the military, in the military, when we got on vehicles, that we made sure that the weapons were unloaded.
Mhm.
And even I'm not gonna lie, moving by vehicle between fields, I have not unloaded my rifle sometimes, but it's always on safe and it's always pointed.
You didn't have a dog in the back seat either.
We had Kelly.
Poor
Yeah, but
Kelly's not a
but
dog,
no,
by the way.
I read that and I was like, man, that's just that just speaks to firearm safety.
Yeah.
The next one, this one was just very interesting. A wildlife refuge in Arkansas said an African serval cat on the loose in Missouri for at least 6 months has been safely captured on a farm and is headed for a new home.
Mhm.
Man, the exotic animals, they get out. That's crazy. We were doing a father-son archery thing in our pastor's house, and his dog was down the gully that ran behind the house, and his dog was going nuts.
It was an emu, wasn't it?
And we were like, okay, we got to check this out.
Or
We looked. It was
ostrich.
Dwayne. No, it was Dwayne's emu.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we look over the edge of this gully, and this dog is nose to nose with this emu, and they're going back up and down the trail. And it turns out the guy across the road escaped, and that thing was out for 6 months, and they finally caught it. Well, they caught it down in Garden City. So what's that? 35 miles away.
Oh,
But that
no, that's longer than
that emu survived in the wild in Missouri for a good 3 months.
I didn't realize that they actually caught it.
No, they caught it.
Okay.
They managed to trap it. But yeah, so if you got anybody that has wild animals nearby, that's something to keep in mind. The next one, Governor Kelly, who is the governor of Kansas, announced $45 million to connect rural Kansas to high-speed internet.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. If it shows up in our neighborhood, I'm halfway tempted to get it, especially after tonight. But I don't see why it's got to be taxpayer money paying for that.
They have high-speed internet a mile away that way, and high-speed internet a mile away that way. High-speed internet a mile away, a mile south, and we're stuck in this stupid mile that they say we can't have any of it.
Cul-de-sac thought he missed us because he was in the other chat. Yeah, we locked up hard and had to restart.
I was saying kind things about my friend too. Now she missed it. There were things I was going to say for her birthday for the video I didn't get done.
So as of right now, if we want high-speed internet, we got to pay for it out of pocket.
And like they have to dig lines.
Well, we're talking a lot of money because it's several miles from the mark.
Well, we're not digging lines. No. I'm not putting that in for all the neighbors.
I'm also not keen on the government spending my money on giving people internet.
They're gonna spend it on whatever they want anyway.
Let's see here.
Told me I needed to quit my smoking and pick up another bad habit. I told her I would be able to see for sure. Oh.
You have to quit the smoking though, Teapot.
She's got some other stuff going on. But yeah, so there's I don't know where you're at, but maybe you can pick up a little smoke somewhere, and you're gonna need it. So I'll call you because I got a feeling that I know what you got. So
that one just speaks to,
not that I'm shipping anything to you. I don't grow anything here, and I'm not a medical doctor.
The next one was, and I'm gonna
cul-de-sac grocery garden. She's a woman.
Oh, sorry. The next one I had, and I'm gonna post the graphic from this and the link for this article in the description after we're done. The drought conditions remain unchanged in the high plains, which is technically we're right on the edge of the high plains, but they're going to expand into the south. And the graphic for it just shows this big swath of increasing dryness going down from southern Kansas down through Arkansas and into the Gulf states. So that's something that we need to be aware of. And really need to start looking at ways to drought proof our garden.
Yeah.
Um,
Just real quick. So Starla's back real quick, and she said, can I email her a pesto recipe? Yes, I can. Let me know if you want pasta or pizza. You can do both. Where can I order boilers and pullets? So I actually went out because I wanted to check and see what was available. And I went out last night, and Cackle Hatchery has some, and you're not going to like this. I did not just automatically order them because I wanted to talk to you. Prices went up, guys. They're high. And
Doug did a video 2 days ago where
they're not that high.
he talked to one of his Amish buddies. His Amish buddy said by the end of the summer they're going to be $25 a pop.
And I guarantee you that I agree with that. So I went out and looked, and you're just talking generic birds. And Cackle Hatchery, by the time I was done with shipping, everything was $354, and that was only for 100 chicks.
That's crazy.
That was 50 meat chickens and 50 of something else. And so this is not good. And the delivery date they couldn't guarantee, which is not a guarantee, until June 24th. So
they can't start shipping them out till it warms up. And
that's not true, because I got a shipment last year in February.
Yeah, and how many did we lose out of that one?
Well, because we had the fire.
No, we lost that one out of Alabama. We lost
that was in the heat. That was when we got them in
it?
the summer. Yes.
Oh.
So yeah, so I yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that one, but G and I will be talking, and we're gonna figure out. He's got to get the chicken tractor together anyway. We probably will expand with some of the egg layers, only because of what we see what's going on. And then it was some turkeys that I was going to order is what it was.
Starla, you tell them you want a straight run. You want a straight
You're
run.
going to pay extra for that.
Yeah, you will, because they have to sex it and do all that stuff. So you will. Tammy, I'm sorry that I dropped the drought issue on you, but it's just something that we gotta. There's one thing we've been talking about this around here for quite a while. You know, Tag made the point this summer that Tornado Alley seems to have shifted south considerably, because we have not seen as many tornadoes up here as what we normally do. In the past 2 or 3 years, they've run amok through Arkansas and Louisiana and Mississippi and through Tennessee. So the weather patterns change. I mean, it's got nothing to do with climate change or anything like that. It's just it's culture and the earth going through cycles. Let's see here. Skeins. I stocked up on shade cloth and for Black Friday. Wish my rain barrels already saw it. Yeah, that's one thing we got to do is I've got to get our rain catchment systems in. In fact, I'm gonna.
I was watching all that beautiful water run off. I was like, look at what we could be catching.
And instead of building my first flush systems, by hand here, I think I'm just going to purchase some ready-made first flush systems where all you do is add PVC pipe to the bottom of it, because the cost right now is about the same for what PVC costs.
I'll call you still. You want me to call you tonight or tomorrow? I know you're going to need some time, so just let me know when.
Potpourri says we only allowed 5 chicks on our property, but I'm going to rebel and get more this year. Amen. Do it. Civil disobedience. They'll come. They'll take my chickens from my cold, dead hands.
My dad called me, and I was talking to my dad.
What did he call you?
And so they saw a story, and then I actually saw Doug and Stacy talking about it on their live. There are people written out. There's a company they started, and they're written out egg layers and the cage. They build the cages, put the chicken in it, and they rent them out. And they thought that they were going to lose their butts, like they weren't doing very well. And now all of a sudden the business is booming.
But you can't. Eggs are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. So, but I was thinking maybe we get a bunch of egg layers and we rent them out.
I'd rather sell the eggs. Rent-A-Coop has been doing that for decades.
Sarah, I'll be praying for you. I don't know how early in the morning I'll call you. I am not a morning person, so it may be afternoon. He's got me running for some lumber if it's not snowing anyway. So we'll get better reception down there, and I don't have to keep hanging up and calling you back.
Yeah, Tammy, I saw the Ryan Hall y'all weather thing this afternoon.
Mm.
It doesn't look as bad as it did the last time it rolled through your area, though.
Mhm.
They're getting tornadoes down there in Alabama and Mississippi area
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, it's wild. It's absolutely crazy. Just everything that's going on. So I don't know. We've had so many earthquakes and we've had so many volcanic activity. We've had so much stuff happen that, we're starting to slip off that axis a little bit. And so, when that happens, of course, of course, the weather's going to change. So we all kind of go down into different areas. I just don't want to slip up to the weather in Canada. So
Too
let's
much
figure that
snow.
out. Yeah.
Terminator is called Terminator for a reason.
Right. I don't want Canada weather.
So here's the next. This is the next news article I found. This actually came from the USDA website. The U.S. Department of Agriculture today announced the details of an additional assistance for dairy producers, included in a second round of payments through the Pandemic Market Volatility Assistance Program. Man, they love their long names. And the Organic Dairy Marketing Assistance Program. Grand total for this assistance for farmers is $350 million. And I find it very interesting that this money's going out there at the same time that the USDA is driving small dairies out of business.
It's commercial. It's the difference between commercial ag and small ag. That's why.
It seems to me like that's just that a lot of that money is corporate welfare, and it's a shame because we had a local dairy that shut down recently, like right when we moved in here. It was right down the road, and they closed up shop because it got too hard for them. So yeah, that was another crazy thing. Here's this afternoon, as a matter of fact. It came from Ag Daily. Last week, thieves stole over $100,000 worth of pork products from a JBS plant in Ottumwa, Iowa. The thieves are still at large. Now, the food theft and all that's not anything new. 4 likes. You guys don't like us. Don't let. Hey, the best life. How you doing? Don't let Yoda know. But the food thievery is not a big thing, but it's on the rise. I was reading an article recently about the big money maker for beekeepers in America is not selling honey; it's renting their hives out for pollination. And the almond pollination season in California is a huge thing. These guys will pack anywhere from 80 to 100 hives on the back of a semi truck and drive them out to California and let them sit out there for 2 or 3 months. And people are stealing entire semi trailers full of beehives. So and it's just all kind of, but it's on the rise. It's going on the rise. Somebody's in there. Let's see here. What'd they say? Tammy says she loves the Homa area. Oh, is some who's? Oh, your daughter's down in Homa. I lived with a guy when I was in the Marine Corps. Him and his wife. He was from Homa, and his wife was from someplace south of Homa, which technically puts her in the Gulf of Mexico. In fact, I think Tommy used to brag that where Barbara's from was the furthest place south in the United States where you could still dry land and not be in the Gulf of Mexico. But yeah, it's just happening more and more and more, and that leads to the next one. I found an article by the John Lott Crime Prevention Research Center. They did a study in 2021. 75% or 73% of all murders in the U.S. took place in 5% of the counties. 52% of the counties reported 0 murders at all. And the article is kind of hard to read because it's full of statistics where they break down percentages of percentages. But it was very interesting. If you took the 5 counties at the top of the list out, the United States would be one of the safest places in the world, and in the Los Angeles County, made up of that 73%, made up like 43% of the murders. And the one thing that's got in common, actually, there's several things that are in common. Number one, they're big cities, so you get more people together, and this is what you get: it's social dysfunction. And then you add liberal policies on top of it, and it just makes it worse.
He's gone.
And that goes to the message that we constantly preach around here, and that's building your community. And if you're in a big city, if you're watching the replay of this live, or you're on this live and you're in a big city, you can build your community. Just know that this is something that you're going to have to deal with. The crime is on the rise. It's weird because overall crime in the United States is not as bad as it was 20 years ago, but certain types of crime are on the rise.
Yeah, but the nice thing is when you're in a rural area, a lot of the criminals, they're lazy. So they'll advertise, I'll come pick up your scrap metal, and then they don't show up. So
Well,
they don't have the energy to show up and try to break in.
Well,
Now, that's not the rule all the way around.
We're not saying that living a rural lifestyle is great, because there are downsides as far as crime. Crime does exist out here. In fact, if you go, I said it in one of my videos. If you go talk to the insurance guy in your area, he can tell you exactly. Actually, he can give you a better idea of property crime than the police can, because he's dealing with all the people that are putting insurance claims in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've got our problems, but it's not nearly as bad.
Unspecified V, we see it.
Yep.
Look
It's all
the crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hot mess. I don't know.
But so those are the stories, and like I said, it speaks to building community. You need to reach out and make contact. The way we've done it here may not work for a lot of people. I gotta admit that it's
throughout history for a long time.
We have, as a community, spearheaded by Tag over at Life Done Free, we have been very aggressive at trying to build community in this area, and it's worked. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure it would have worked out the same way had Tag not spearheaded that.
I don't think so. And it was really interesting too, because just even before we moved here, we were introduced to neighbors and all of that, because knows everybody here. You can't swing a dead cat without somebody being related even. And we were introduced to people and just kind of connected pretty quick with quite a few people. So, you know,
grain mill.
The grain mill. The grain mill.
Actually, nothing's attached to it.
No, what she's seeing is the handle.
Oh yeah.
Has she seen one before?
Yeah, she's seen one. She said she's got to get it set up.
Oh yeah, it's the wheel to turn. That's what that is. Can you see it? So that's the grinding wheel.
I'm trying to talk Mr. Hacks over at Hacksman Homesteader.
He's supposed to be building
build us an electric motor, because if you look really closely at the wheel there, you can put a belt on it. And friends of ours, Pastor Jack and his family, they've got one, and they've got an electric motor on it, and it just makes a world of difference. And
he was going to ask his father-in-law if he would build me one, but there's a vacuum cleaner motor or something like that you have to. Yeah, the exercise bike. We've talked about that, but man, I know what it is to crank it with your hands. I don't know if I can imagine.
It's definitely a workout. It is definitely a workout.
Yeah.
But man,
neither one of us would have to lift weights if we just ground mill all day.
You got to make sure you switch arms so you don't end up with one bicep that's larger than the other.
What I'm really hoping is that I can get my hands on one of the community mills that Justin Metcalf over at Metcalf Mills that he's doing. And man, if I could get my hands on one of those, game on.
Cul-de-sac. What we're gonna try to do, if you look over in the corner, just to the side of where Yoda is, you can see the bottom of the butcher block underneath the Berkey.
Oh yeah.
We've got another butcher block, and we're thinking about mounting it actually on the
there.
car. Yeah.
And it's got locks on the wheel, so I can lock it down.
When we used it before, we just got C clamps and clamped it to a butcher block.
Not work well.
No, it didn't work well.
But
if we could,
it really bolted to something. Yeah.
Kind of like ice cream makers.
Yeah.
Kind of like old school ice cream makers.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Have you ever tried cooking a ribeye roast in a crock pot? I did it and it was wonderful. Best roast I've ever tasted. The ribeyes are cheaper than chuck roast this week.
That's interesting. Yeah, I do Instant Pot a lot, and so I throw everything in the Instant Pot now. Kind of quit using the crock pot. Well, I still use it once in a while, but frequently stopped using it maybe about 2 years ago or so.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
well, and the good thing about the Instant Pot is basically pressure cooking the meat, so it
right. Yeah, I can do frozen, throw all my ingredients in there, everything's frozen or whatever, and it's done and I don't have to worry about it. I can do what I do in there is pork and not pork and beans, ham and beans. And I did ham and beans in there. The beans weren't fully cooked. I didn't soak them. And the ham was frozen. I had already had it cubed. And I threw all those in there. And we had ham and bean soup in 45 minutes. And it was wonderful.
Well, if you get the right model, it's got a yogurt setting.
Well, there's just different models. And they keep updating them and all of that. Bee's got one yogurt button on there. But
best way to make homemade yogurts in the oven.
In the oven, yeah.
Best way to do it.
Yeah. And so, but I try to not do that as often unless I'm trying to do volume for the freeze dryer. And the reason why is because it's so important that we keep our cooking skills up. One, so that we can help others learn how to do it. Two, because we have to use our senses and know our herbs and all of that stuff as we're cooking, how to make things taste better, because it's coming to a point, folks, where you'll have to come up with a white pill for this one. But okay. I go to the grocery store and I look around, and it's coming to the point that if you don't know how to season your food and you haven't stockpiled things and you don't know how to cook, you're screwed. I don't know how else to say that.
Well, the white pill on that is that there's still time.
Right.
There's still time, and then you can also, one of the things we were getting into at the old place was identifying natural spices that were on the property.
Right.
Like sumac. A lot of people don't know that you can use sumac as a replacement for pepper.
Right. And that was a lot of the herbs and things that I grew, especially coming over to the new homestead. I've got eucalyptus trees and all this other kind of stuff. And it was okay. There was a while there you couldn't find meatloaf seasoning. And I don't need meatloaf seasoning. This is not a big deal. This is a convenience. So I came home, put my meat together, went out to the kitchen garden, cut what I wanted, put it together. The best damn meatloaf we ever had. And I'll just do it that way from now on. So that's kind of what we're doing. To exercise the solar ovens and exercise the open fire skills and exercise the, that kind of thing. Those are very, very important because we don't want to, when we get to a point, we don't want to completely be shocked where we're shut down and we can't keep going. So.
Right. And that was one of the things we were talking about. So Yoda's been doing the cooking videos recently, and she's been using a lot of store-bought meat and stuff. And she's been very fortunate to find it on sale and find it available. Right?
Well, and that's the whole point. I'm trying to figure out what the prices are. I'm trying to figure out what everybody else is going to have to be paying for that. And all of that. I want to keep up on current events. So
right, and so we're making these videos.
And trust me, I'm not going out and spending hundreds of dollars on stuff.
When she tells you she's making them at $1 a serving, she's making it at $1 a serving.
Yeah.
But we the ultimate goal is to have your meals come off your property.
Self-sufficiency. Yeah.
In fact, I was telling her she made a baked omelet the other day that was just off the chart.
He wants me to do a video for you, and I think it's so boring. It's just boring.
No, but it's a simple recipe, and it's a different twist on something that that is normal for people.
Mhm.
And the cool thing about it is all the seasonings, everything in the dish except for the salt and pepper came from the garden.
No, not true. I put some of that pork tenderloin bacon wrapped honey stuff in it. You don't remember that being in there. You
No.
were just more into the eggs.
It was the eggs,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah,
sausage.
yeah.
But she can make it. She can make it with our homemade bacon
Mhm.
and our eggs that came from
Oh,
here.
yeah. Our homemade bacon
We'll
was in
use
there.
we'll use Jonathan's Texas Tarragon.
Mhm.
That exactly do a meatloaf off the
Mhm.
property,
Mhm.
you know. But if you've got the opportunity to buy the stuff now and you can afford it, then I don't feel bad. Is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, no, 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 no. And there's like several listen, so just like when other homesteads are saying they're like they get 90% of their food off of their property. Yeah, they do. They've been at it a long time. And yes, we've been at it a long time, but remember, we've only been on this property since October of
21.
2021. And so it's going to be 5 years before we're back in there. And we know that. But that's why our freezers are loaded down and we have all that. That's why we order our meat chickens and then feed them and get them going. There's ways to get there. You have to think those things through, get there and do that. You're still going to be buying some stuff. You don't have to. Who was it over at Dave Ramsey? One of the teachers on there. She's doing a no spend January, and so it's been amazing. They lowered their grocery bill by quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah, she's got, I can't remember how many kids, but she's got a kids and a husband, and they lowered their grocery bill. I think she said they're only spending $100 a week.
HG says the entire origin of regional cuisine is cooking with what is available locally before the fast mass transport and brands. Cuisine is foundation of culture.
Yep.
That's a fantastic point. One of the things
It's also natural medicine.
I find Korea fascinating. It's a fascinating country. Been there twice. And you can tell what time of year it is by what's being cooked in the restaurants
Mhm.
or what somebody's cooking in their house, because they will literally walk out the back door and whatever's is edible,
Mhm.
they'll pull it
Mhm.
and they'll cook it in their meals. And that's just their culture. And it's like that throughout all Asia. In fact, it's like that in most parts of the world, to be honest with you. But they just Korea, I love Korean food, and just seeing it firsthand was amazing. So we need to start doing that here.
You, do you remember how much coleslaw I canned and
Yes,
how
I
much
did. I
cabbage?
can't eat it anymore.
I
I can. I just choose not to.
right. So I have a lot of stuff. I was walking out to the gardens and I was just getting.
Yep.
In fact, he was putting a sandwich together and walked out to the yard and just picked his lettuce. And
No,
you even did a video
it was
on
right
it.
up front. I did a video on it because we had
Yeah.
a table out there, and I just literally reached back and grabbed some lettuce and put it on my
Yeah.
thing. Let's see. With curry in Indian Pakistan, almost every town or family has their own curry combination. It's like Texas versus KC.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're saying is some of the KC Indian curry is better than the Indian Texas curry, is what you're saying. That's the way I read that HG. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my gosh.
And then update. I missed this on the update. Tomorrow morning, our chickens are going to eat their first meal supplied by a commercial kitchen.
Yep.
I reached out and I finally made contact with a local kitchen and
TPO, we can make that happen.
got them some buckets, and they just happened to have I delivered the buckets today. They're going to put their food scraps in it and let me know when to pick them up. And they had a bag of
Veggies,
that they had prepared earlier, and they were going to toss it on. I said, I'll take that for you. And so they're going to eat their first meal from a commercial kitchen. It's not very much.
We'll have to do some grain though.
Yeah, we'll have to do a little bit because it's not a very big bag, and it's one of the places where I work, and they sometimes they don't get a lot of leftover food. So we need to reach out. We need to start contacting more people.
We'll see what we can do. Hippocrates, yeah, so you're a vinegar based guy. You would love my canned coleslaw. And so I actually got this recipe from Hacks got it off the internet, I think. And I was like, no way, there's no way we can do this. And actually grew quite a bit of cabbage to do it, and ended up with some over blessing amount of cabbage last year. And so I made a crap ton of that, took it out, took, I don't know what, 6 jars out to our son, and he tried it. And once we actually served it at a baby shower. And so once he tried it, he was in love with it, and literally almost boxed one of the guests a shower because I gave her a jar. He was like, don't be giving that stuff away. But he said that it reminded him of a barbecue restaurant in St. Louis that does a vinegar-based coleslaw. And HG, and apparently I nailed it. So.
HG, you need to reach out and look up Bobby Q he's on freesteading.
Oh yeah,
they've got a commercial side. I did a video about his barbecue sauce, and told the story of my introduction to what at the time I felt was an abomination, but I've grown to like it.
He ate the whole damn jar.
It was good. He did a really good job. It was tasty. It's not Kansas City barbecue, but what is?
It goes okay with some stuff. So, but
although I gotta admit, since I went carnivore, the all the sauces and stuff not really necessary. The meat tastes just fine.
Yeah, your gut's getting fixed. That's why. That did that style Polar Freeze
in Walnut Ridge, Arkansas.
Huh. Yeah.
Well, around here, vinegar based. Them's hanging words, seriously.
Well, unless you're in the Amish community.
Let's see. Terminator says I get scraps from my chickens from the local grocery store. It saves a lot.
Yeah.
That's what we're moving to.
We're not from the grocery store. We can't get them from here.
Jason did a video where he talked about feeding his animals that way. Billy's the one that actually turned me on to the whole process. Billy from Permapasture. But we're moving towards trying to do that. Baby steps right now.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out more buckets and lids if we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
So,
well, we got enough that we can do it. It's just a matter.
Depends on how much you're planning on pulling in, and then those are also my food storage buckets.
I'd like to feed the chickens and the pigs off of it.
I understand that, but I'd like to store some food.
Let's see here. I got 32 5-gallon buckets from one place right after Christmas for my animals. Yep. I remember you telling that story. They can only eat so much at one time, so it lasts you.
Well, and the chickens were lucky today because I was doing some videos and things like that, and there's only so much I can eat. And when I do the videos to do all that, and I had to focus on candy, so I took a bunch of stuff out to them today, and they were happy. In fact, they were fighting each other. You thought they were all starving.
Well, and you get better production whenever they're eating like that too. I mean, the grains. And tell them, hey, before we leave, folks, we're an hour into this stream, and
we're like an hour and a half over. Between the two.
Before we go, tell them about the conversation you had with the guy at the feed store about the about chicken feed.
Yeah. So I had heard something. It was over at Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. And he was talking with somebody. I'm not going to quote it because I don't remember exactly, but he was saying something about the feed and egg production. And so and I'm going to put stuff in here. This is not what he said. I am not quoting him. So nobody go over there and start trouble. But we went. Let's see. I went to the feed store and I started talking to him. And I said, "Have you heard anything about them changing the feed that you get from Tractor Supply or Orscheln's and all that?" Because right now it's the same thing. They haven't changed over yet. Basically, essentially, I would think Purina and all of that, they're all doing pretty much the same. And I said, "Have you seen a difference with any of that? Heard anything? Do you know what's going on?" And he's like, he goes, "No." He said, "Explain to me." And I said, "Well, A lot of people are saying their egg production is down. Now, we do not feed our chickens from Tractor Supply or Orscheln's or any of that. We get it all from the co-op. So
And
it's
it's all locally,
local farmers, locally grown.
it's locally sourced and
Right.
produced there at the co-op.
Right. And so so we haven't seen any lower except for normal winter when the day length was changing and that kind of
And
thing.
actually we're still getting pretty good production.
We're doing
for it being wintertime.
Great production for wintertime. And so make sure you're following that because that's going fast and I'm not keeping up because I'm talking. And so I talked to him and I said, any idea? I told him, I said, what production, the feed, like what would have changed? What would have happened? And so he thought about it for a minute and he goes, he goes, if they're trying to save money, and I said, well, save money. They've raised the feed prices, what I'm seeing per bag. And he said, no, 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 no. He said, if they're trying to save money and they're trying to figure things out, two possible things are happening. And he said they're not putting the binder in. You need a binder. And they're not putting in the I want to say microorganisms.
Macronutrients.
He said something else. But anyway, somewhere in there, micronutrients or microorganisms, something in there. But they're not putting that in there. He said if they're not doing that, that would cause egg production to go down.
Because the chickens are passing the nutrients out of their body instead of absorbing them.
Yeah. Oh, did you look it up to correct me because I couldn't remember yesterday?
No, I'm just putting two and two together.
Oh, okay.
What was going on?
But yeah, so that makes sense. But that being said, he also said he's not a chicken expert. So this was just something that we're hearing on the ground, and we're hearing what people are going through. So guys, I'm telling you, it's not hard to buy from a local co-op. It's really not. You don't have to have an LLC. You don't have to be a business. You can just go in there and you can buy it, and it's going to be cheaper. So
the bags are cheaper, and buying it by bulk like we do is
even cheaper. We have lowered our bill from
it's like 40% less expensive.
Yeah. So our feed bill went from I was easily spending $1,200 a month, and yeah, I was with chicken feed and the sheep and goat feed. Yes, I was. You just had me going to get it at different times, and so it was easily. Okay,
No,
we'll just say even if it's on the low end, $800.
We were spending. We budgeted. Normally, I budget $400 a month for feed and all the dog food and all the food for everything, and it got to the point where it was up to $600 a month.
Well, I remember spending $800 and some odd dollars at Orscheln, so I don't agree with that. But
well, that's when you were buying it you're buying a ton worth of bags.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying. And so now we go. I'm talking about then. I'm not talking about now.
All right.
And so, but we were going in, and I know sometimes it was $1,000, and I can go to the co-op now, and our feed bill, not for the dogs, but our feed bill for all the livestock was $210 and some change. That was it.
Well, between
and that lasts us what, 6-8 weeks?
Between the feed, no, it lasts us a month. Between the feed and the hay, dog food and the cat food, and anything special like that, it's $400 out of the household budget every month.
Yeah.
And so naturally getting the food from the kitchens and supplementing that, if I can
lower that feed bill,
yeah,
we can start making some money on the farm.
Yeah.
And trust me, we'd love to pass that on, but we don't gouge anybody on our prices now for meat or eggs or anything like. He came home and he said, I got to raise the prices on eggs. And I said, why are you doing that? And he said, well, they're joking at work that they're going to buy the eggs from us and then turn around and resell them. And I was like, so that's their problem. We don't have to be like that. And so, we sell them for what we can make money for.
Cul-de-sac, get online in your area and look up feed stores. And you'll find, even in big cities,
feed stores a little different from co-ops.
Well, but it's a starting point.
Right.
It's a starting point. But you can also look up farm co-ops, and they're in big cities. We lived in a suburb of Kansas City, and it was the burbs. It was way in the burbs. and we had a feed store right down the road from us. So you just got to look for them.
And they'll tell you where the co-op is, and it just so we used to live. We used the feed store, but we loved her, and so it was no big deal. We love like-minded people and putting our money there. Not that the co-op wasn't, but we could support her and her store, and she did great things. But turns out the co-op, the mill was literally downtown. It was literally right in our town.
HIP HG says check with the local extension office. And,
That's possible. Yeah, they'll know. They know all the ag stuff. So.
And if you're in North Kansas, I take it Gladstone. You're in North Kansas City. Is Gladstone North Kansas City? Or
she's in Gladstone. Oh, Jackson Farmers. That's the same co-op that we use. They're everywhere.
Are they over there too?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
And I know there's one. Right? Am I Gladstone? Yes, I'm reading that right. So they're all over. They're north and south, and then I do believe over Missouri. Yeah. So Jackson Farmers is who you want
if you're in that area. Okay. Yeah. Aaron's taken off for the night, and I think I'm with him.
Yeah, it's about time.
Jackson Farmers Co-op.
Yep.
Looked at it that she thinks there may be one in your area.
So I mean, if not, then maybe you're just going to St. Joe or Atchison or something like that. I think there's one right there in Atchison.
There's one in Jamesport.
And I know, yeah, they're up there. Just go look for them, and they're great. And if you need them to for Homestead, I'm surprised Hex hasn't put anything on here. You can actually tell them that you want the Grumpy Acres recipe. They make fun of me because everybody keeps going in there and looking up our recipe. But
okay, guys,
yeah, you can go in there and get it.
Had a great evening tonight, even with the hiccup in the beginning.
Yeah,
had a great evening. Glad
I don't
you
even
guys
think we got all our information out there.
Glad you guys showed up. We appreciate you. You guys make it worthwhile. Mm-hmm. We learned something.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
thank you.
Hopefully we gave you guys some stuff to think about. Cul-de-sac, go get your solar oven.
Yes,
it's well worth it.
Hit our link. Make sure hit our link.
Yeah, we are solar oven affiliates, so you can get some.
G will put it down below.
Yeah, I'll put it in there. So you can help the channel by buying your solar oven through that link.
Yeah, hey, absolutely.
How cool is that?
Yay.
How cool is that?
And then Mrs. Hacks.
She's got the sun oven.
Oh, and Mrs. Hacks, I did see what you said. And yes, you're probably right, because I'm craving me some cheesy grits. So.
I missed it.
No, because I got Justin's cornmeal. And I said, you can't have any. And she goes, you're just going to cook for me and I'll get it anyway. So yeah.
She's right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, listen. Go out tomorrow and the next day and the next day.
And go live a life done free.
Well, share your experiences with other people.
And learn.
Go learn. Go share. Go learn. And go pursue a life done free. And you guys have a blessed week.
And wait, real quick, P.S. Don't forget, please don't get burnt out on the freeze dryer videos. I've got to make sure that those are up.
All right, guys. You guys have a great night.